Hello everybody and welcome to a new style of Arkham Horror video on the channel that we've had some people in the past request, kind of like a podcast-like discussion. It's not a podcast, there's not going to be an audio version because we are a YouTube channel. Video is our format. But we're going to be discussing all of the classes in Arkham Horror. And Travis, it's your idea. I'll let you kind of sum it up because you'll
just talking about the stuff that we like and the stuff that we dislike, and like design space that we'd like to see explored, and maybe designs that haven't implemented that we hope they don't do more of and stuff. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, we're going to be talking for until we're done, or an hour, whichever comes first. And if we feel like we still have more to talk to in about a class, we will revisit that class in a future episode. Cough Seeker Cough. Because I'm sure that one will talk quite a bit in that one.
It's going to be a spicy episode.
Yeah. We just have Tetsuo here. We have. I'll be going through cards as we get through this, kind of putting them on the screen as we're talking about them. But I think a good place for us to start in this is, it's an obvious question, but I feel like we need to ask it. What does the Guardian class mean to you in terms of its design and style of play? Shoot.
Expensive.
Yes, expensive, yeah.
We need money.
Yeah, lots of the resource costs are high. Soak, protection, like Guardian, like actually, like that's a part of it.
It's in the name.
Yep.
Police.
Police, yeah.
Is a huge part of Guardian's identity.
Flavor to that, yeah. Another one to me is fair. They are a class that is, none of their cards are particularly busted or broken. They're just all very fair.
Yep.
This is not unlike Rogue, they cheat. Seekers, who are kind of like broken. And Survivors, who are, with their exploration of the discard pile, makes them also broken. Mystics are also very fair, but they're fair in a different way than the Guardian classes to me. Because Mystics, they're around one stat.
Yeah.
But even then, Mystics have their thing that I look at a card like Arcane Research, and I'm like, that card
is just Mystic. This isn't the Mystic video.
Yeah. But like, Guardians don't have any of that. Just all of their cards, cards
I would like to see a card like that for Guardians.
Mm-hmm.
Something that like lets you get experience when you're not necessarily upgrading a specific weapon, but like, I don't know, something that's like rewards you for upgrading a one-hand weapon to a two-hand weapon or something like that.
They really don't have it because like Rogue has Sharon's Obel and like God sort them out, right? Survivor has the fact that all of their things are teeny tiny, right? Mystics have Arcane Research. Seeker has their Shrewd Analysis to make all of their untranslated and unidentified double, right?
Maybe something like police training and gives you, or like police contacts or something like that. Makes your police things cost one less to put in your deck. Mm-hmm. I guess, because that'd be pretty limiting to what you get the experience bonus on. But like, there's enough of them that you could probably like make it work.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then maybe like one of those deck building restriction ones where you have to have X amount of police assets in your deck.
Yeah. Yeah.
That might be cool.
I definitely think exploring the police thing, especially because we've talked previously, like how we have we've joked like with Miskatonic, Survivors would get the creature one.
Yeah.
Now we know it's neutral, which does also make sense. But we always would say that
want
like
to go with the dogs.
Yes, yeah, and we'd always would say that blue should get police, and I feel like exploring that design space would be really cool.
I think a permanent for blue that just gave you like one, possibly two slots that could only be used to hold police assets.
Yeah,
that
would be kind of neat.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be good? Who knows? Doesn't matter.
They could do like a pseudo experience one where like your guns come to play with an extra bullet on them or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Where so like you don't actually get an experience discount, but you get more of your like gun or your flamethrower or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like limiting in what you can use them on, of course. It moves away from the melee Guardian build, which is something I also like to see.
Yes.
I like to see someone who uses like swords or something like that. Like an idiot.
We have that
Yeah, Lily Chen, she can't use
Lily Chen
firearms.
cannot use firearms.
I don't have that yet.
Yeah, it has
Does
a-
not count.
Yeah.
She's
Okay.
also purple investigator.
She is.
Her card is purple. I'm
No.
not colorblind. Don't gaslight me.
That's actually a big thing for me too, because I've said before that with my style of play, I don't like guns. I like melee, right? I am trying to rectify that. I'm playing a shotgun Mark Harrigan deck on the Patreon right now, which has been a good time. But like, I understand that like it's harder to balance, and the melee weapons need to be worse because they don't run out of ammo.
Yeah,
right?
you just get to use them forever.
Yeah, and they're also kind of boring. Like I just actually finished one with Cyclopean Hammer. I've tried that one, and it's really good, but just really boring, right? Because
That's
you just
fair.
hit. You just
Yeah.
hit.
Yeah.
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 No, I do like the design for things like the Enchanted Blade, where
Yeah.
like it is a melee weapon and you can use it forever, but it's only got so much magic.
Yeah. No, I like that too.
All right, this image is going to die for a second, chat.
Rip.
Yeah, this one I think is a really good weapon design.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No, I like enchant, but a lot just in general. The only thing I wish about is like maybe the purple one like let you use your brain instead of your fist, so it was like slightly more applicable to any purple investigator.
Yeah.
You know, but
You know?
there's a card that's designed to go with Diana Stanley at the time, and it goes fine with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine with her. It's fine with Dex. It's not fine with Marie Lambeau.
You know, for all the other things that the other classes have, I really feel like Guardian's missing something, like some kind of mechanic to make them. Like they have bold as a mechanic, but that doesn't really count.
Yeah, that's just
It's just like a restriction. You've got like you fight stuff. That's cool, I guess. You got allies that can take. You got things that can take damage from for people. You
yeah.
got healing, which is like most of the time not great, but even then, that's also kind of Purple's thing. You have some in counter deck manipulation. You have like First Watch and Fool Me Once, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I spelled
Which
that wrong.
initially I hated, but after realizing how little blue actually has,
Yeah, it's a bit more fairity, a bit more.
yeah,
That was you. Which one did you not like? You didn't like Fool Me Once, or the?
it was First Watch I didn't
Yeah.
like. I felt like it should have been a purple card.
Yeah.
I think First Watch is very much a blue card. Like the first first major expansion had let me handle this one.
Yeah.
Or I'll handle this one, or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever it's called.
Yeah, first major expansion also had Strange
which-
Sleuth and Acidic Ichor though.
Right. But that one allowed you to take somebody else's Mythos card,
Yeah.
and this also does that.
Yeah, no, like I get it from a flair standpoint.
Yeah.
I just thought that like I didn't mind blue being able to protect from the encounter deck. I thought that like encounter deck manipulation should have been a purple thing though.
This is
But-
only sort of manipulation.
I
Like
think.
it is
Yeah.
manipulation.
It's only sort of.
And I think we're all arguing right now with past Travis, right? Like,
Yeah.
no.
Past Travis is always kind of stupid.
Yeah, and it's honestly, I would like to see kind of like more of this kind of thing, or like to kind of fit with this new like the Daniela and the Soak, where you can mitigate some of the damage or like take from someone else, but like it also like can hurt you in a way, right? Or like being able to what Daniela is opening, but it's probably not going to go further because she's already, I think, pretty strong, and more effects that can benefit her will be very strong for her. But like having a way to reward yourself for taking damage, right? Like, 'cause that feels like also like a Guardian thing too, like fight through the pain kind of thing.
Yeah, no, you're
right?
right. I was actually thinking about that. Like that's kind of like Mark's ability is, but
Yeah.
I'd like to see more cards like that reward you for just playing mass amounts of Soak, like Blood Eclipse. Is that what I'm thinking of?
The one that you can
You take damage and
the
you can
amount of
fight
damage
with your
you take.
brain.
Yes, yep.
Yeah. That's what it's called, right?
Yep.
That is
yep.
what it's called.
Or like, what would also be cool with something like that is that you can like place damage on up to X cards. The amount of cards you place damage on, the effect changes, right? Like
It
X
rewards you for
different cards.
having like a whole squad or like playing cards.
Yeah.
Like,
That would be
for
really
goods.
cool. Actually, I
would be
like
cool.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like to see more cards like that 5-costed Myriad one.
Well, what is that even called?
Yeah, right.
Not Solemn Vow. That's the other
No,
one.
it's not called Solemn Vow. Yeah.
I'll get my binders.
Spiritual Resolve.
Yeah, there it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, I know.
More cards with effects like this, where if you draw extra copies of them, you can throw them away to make the existing one
Yep.
like last longer.
I will say I do really like their limited use of the arcane slot. I think that's
Yeah, I
going
think that's
nicely.
very clever. Yeah.
They're doing a good job with that one. With like you have like basically Spiritual Resolve, Flesh Ward, and Enchant Armor.
I would also like
for
to
the silk ones,
see
Enchant Weapon.
a little bit more use out of the upgrade.
Yep. Stuff like I'll get. So like specifically, that seems
Effect.
like well maintained. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, like it could be anything, but like
I would like to see upgrades specific to like firearms,
Yes.
as opposed because then you can
Like
they
custom
can like
ammunition.
push the power on them, make them a lot more interesting because you'll like probably lose them eventually, right?
Mhm.
Like custom ammunition, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that would be really. Excuse me, we're recording a video. I think that would be really cool to see, and also just like going to well prepared, right? Obviously, like the idea is that guardians are the asset class, right?
Yeah, they want
And-
to have things.
And I think that that should be further explored in like different ways as well, because like you kind of have that with rogues, or kind of also like there's, or maybe that's just Bryn's playstyle skewing me towards that. They might be more of an event actually, because they have the whole like kind of thing.
you can do all kinds of things with Rogue.
So like I think pushing guardians as the asset class would be good for it, and like really going hard on it.
Yeah, have something that's like it can take damage up to the number of cards you have in play.
Yep.
Something like that. I also like to see them have more cards that care about killing enemies, like evidence. I
Yep.
like to see a crack the case-esque card, but for killing an enemy, and then like you get
Maybe
resources.
money equal to its like damage values or something.
Yeah, or that's like its fight value.
Yeah.
So I mean, it makes more sense with fight value because it's the same thing as the
Yeah.
cracked case. You get more money based on how difficult it was.
I think what also could be interesting to see explored on like a kind of like a valiant sacrifice type thing, where you get effects if you discard ally assets, right?
Yeah,
Like,
discarding cards would be cool, or allies in particular.
yes, yeah, because then that would be a bit more.
Upgrade.
That
I'll
feels like a
see
little more
you in
purple
hell.
to me, though, like
It-
a witch doctor or voodoo
It
person.
does, no, but
kinda.
I think like the idea, or maybe like you put damage on an ally, like because they're like taking, like they're doing it for you, or like because my thought process is like, what would like exploring like first watch, what would a ward of protection and guardian look like?
Oh, yeah, like
to
a-
me, that would like put 3 damage on an ally you control, or like discard an ally in play.
Or something like a heroic sacrifice, you discard an ally you control, and like the enemies at your location don't attack this turn, or something
Yes,
like that.
yeah, that'd be really cool. That'd be really cool. Like a like a big
Or like
dodge.
yeah.
That'd be cool. I like that.
A level 2, I'll see you in hell.
Yeah.
Instead of dying, you get to push one of your other guys. Like, here, take this.
I
That
also
would, it would if it has the same effect, man, it's gonna have to.
I think what they also need to do is, while I'm just looking at counterpunch here, I think what they, oh my god, that just lined up perfectly, wonderful, is that they need to have, there's so many cards that exist right now, or like boxing gloves that only exist for one investigator, and then you also have that kind of like with Sister Mary, right? Like to
Yeah,
me,
they're
the
so
Guardian
niche.
class, or like Tommy Muldoon, like he just soaks. They don't really have the unique deck building that the other classes allow, and maybe that's their card pool, maybe that's their investigator. But Guardian is the class I like playing the least of mine.
That's fair. I enjoy playing Guardians. I find them boring to build, though.
Yeah, and that's why I don't, because I like killing monsters. It's really fun, and like I'm enjoying playing Mark right now. But like just the choices you have when you're building are kind of just like,
Yeah, like the highs when you're playing Guardian are real high. When
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, I'm gonna burn you to a crisp. Like where you don't get a say in it. You know,
Yeah.
like. But the lows when you're like, there's no enemies in play. You're just kind of like, cool. I will gain 3 resources and then my turn.
yeah, and
That's a little. I mean, that's a multiplayer problem, but like, it's
and
a
I,
little tough.
I think as well, what's kind of starting to happen too, as the card pool goes bigger, is that while Guardians have the firearms and they shoot and they kill, I don't think, like, to me, the best fighter in the game right now is Tony Morgan, right? Just because he gets the extra actions, right? Mark Harrigan would be up there too because of the efficiency he gets.
Mm-hmm.
But just like having a whole extra action to fight each turn is just very valuable, or even just an engage, right? And then you have the fact that every other class now, as the game goes, every class should be able to deal with monsters, but they're starting to be able to deal with monsters by just like killing them, right?
Yeah.
Like Seeker, we could do that from the beginning with Acidic Ichor, but you had to go through a lot of steps to get there, and now it's just, hey, do you want to discard cards from your hand? Do it.
Yeah,
And
I like cards like I've Got Plan and Cult Invocation for Seeker. I think that those are fine for them to have, because they should have some options to get them. That's like being like, blue shouldn't get this, because they should be allowed to discard clues, but...
is the Cult Invocation the one with Harvey Walters on the art?
It's not Harvey Walters, but it's like, he's a guy doing that, but he's got the book in the other hand.
Yes, okay, yeah.
You have to like make a book test, and you discard cards, and you do more damage. You get plus the book test based on cards you discard.
Oh, it is Harvey Walters. No, it is him.
Is it?
Yeah, it is him.
It's just like not super well drawn.
Yeah.
Okay.
But okay, then no, this one I agree. I think this one is good because it requires you to, it requires you to discard 2 cards from your hand. Yeah. It's not like where, like I know with whatever the book is called that I just forget.
The
Lexicon. You have to find it. That's the cost. But for Seeker, in my opinion, that shouldn't be a cost.
Yeah.
Right. And all of this is what's making Guardians feel a little bit flatter, is because everyone else, the other classes, are starting to encroach on their territory, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, that was a big one to pick. I had Tony when he came out, is because, I mean, it still bothers me. I just vented about it enough that it's not all built up. Like, Green got a lot of fighting cards, and they were all kind of predicated on, like, they're very efficient, but they were all predicated on being, your investigator being kind of bad at fighting.
Bad at it.
Yeah, and then Tony Morgan's like, I'm great at fighting, and you're just like, okay, so like you're just better than the blue investigators now, because like half your weapons are better than what blue gets, except for the very, very high level ones. And it's
like the level 0 weapons are mostly worse, and a lot swingier.
Yeah, but like when you're upgrading,
but, and like the high level ones don't exist.
You can get to the mid level ones.
The mid level weapons are much better.
Mm-hmm. No, the high level ones are fine. You got the Beretta, you got the typewriter.
Yeah, the Beretta is like an incredibly swingy piece of garbage.
They got their own shotgun. Yeah,
their shotgun is also like kind of not good.
Yeah, still.
I do really like the headspace that the Beretta occupies, though, where it's like, yes, this is incredibly similar to a 2-handed weapon out of blue, but also like, if you screw up bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so like it's.
I think the problem with what you're saying is that if this was like used with someone like Skids, you're attacking for 7 with nothing else. But with Tony, you're attacking for 9 with nothing else, which is it's much insane. Bigger with the succeed by, right?
Yeah.
Like that really changes things.
Yeah. If you want to use it twice in a turn, though, it's like it gives you +0.
Yeah. Interesting.
And I think that's a reasonable place for like the good.
What the frick? Oh, I closed it one.
So then, like, it's a tough place to be now, because you can't just print better blue cards, because then you're power creeping the rest of the class, and the old ones don't seem to play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I think what blue needs is like a little bit more reliability in how well they can kill monsters, because for most, sure, green's got like swift reload, but that's like all it's got, and it has no real ways to find this. It's relying entirely on out-of-class options for that.
Yeah.
And I've also always viewed... Rogue is the class that's like secondary fighting. That's why Skids in the core is the other half Guardian, right? I think the problem is Tony Morgan because his fist is just too high.
I ran him to 4-fist fantasy flight.
I honestly like, even though like I understand they need they need to have varying stats, but to me 5 is just like too much for a starting stat. Apart from foot, because foot doesn't do anything. Right?
Yeah,
I think 5 is fine as long as the rest of your numbers are kind of not good.
Yeah.
Like in this case, I wouldn't mind seeing Tony be like 4 fight, but instead he gets to be like 3-3 and 2 instead of like 5-3-2-2.
Yeah.
I think that would be not such a bad thing, or even just have 4 foot, like 4 fight 4 foot.
Yeah, I think the other
but that makes him have the exact same stat line as Silas. So, do you really want that?
It's fine.
I mean, that is a That is something too, because it is kind of like hard with the design, because they want their investigators to feel unique, and I think overall they've done very well at like their investigators feeling very different from one another.
They're gonna run out of combinations, so
alternatively,
some of them.
They could just remove blue from Tony's deck building options.
Yeah.
And he now has a real problem, which is like you got to find your weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that would be good.
Because then you kind of have to like
then you got
to run more.
Now you have to spend the experience on backpacks.
Yeah. Now it's tougher to make the deck work.
Yeah.
Right. Like if you want to play like this, it's going to cost you a whole bunch more XP now.
Yeah.
Because you got to find the stupid thing. You can't just play prepared for the worst.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think that would not be a terrible way to do that. Maybe I'll stop playing blue with Tony. Who knows? Probably not. It's really good.
It is really good. Some other recent successes that I think are nice is it's unfortunate that we can't explore the blessed thing more, but while I don't like the blessed mechanic archetype as a whole, I really like Holy Rosary too. Right.
I do like what this implies, where it's maybe instead of seeing all kinds of multicolored stuff forever, we're going to also see like alt versions of things like this.
Be cool to get something like a red machete or whatever.
Ooh, yeah.
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 It's like old and rusted, so like sometimes it breaks, but it also does it's like +3 and +2 damage or something like that.
It gives the monsters tetanus.
Yeah.
But if you roll a skull, you cut yourself and give yourself tetanus.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think one of the big issues that Blue struggles with too is like so many of their investigators have sanity as their bad stat, and then they have a big pile of health, and then their clash just gives them a big pile of ways to take health damage.
Yeah.
To tank health damage and heal it, and then they have like kerosene. And if it bleeds,
I promise if it bleeds is good.
You're wrong. Like, you're just wrong. It doesn't have a subtype. They didn't even finish designing this card, Bryn.
It doesn't have a trait.
That's how half-baked it is.
It's a cool idea.
And honestly, I would like to see them kind of explore, like, this is like with the evidence, right? Mm-hmm. They should get rewarded for killing monsters. I just think they didn't push it far enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if this card costs 0, I still wouldn't play it. If it cost 0 and if it committed for double icons, I would not play it.
Yeah, even if it was guts.
Honestly, it should just be like, it's
like I could play guts.
It should even just be like a heal horror equal to that enemy's damage or horror value, right? And then now the card would have been like, okay, right? And which is still better than binder fodder.
I think if they restrict, like one thing they can do for blue is restrict relic weapons to be like either purple or blue.
Yeah.
And they don't exist for other colors.
I agree with that, yeah.
And then...
It's there for the most part.
Yeah. I mean, there's only like 2 of them. 3 of them.
But they should start...
One of them is neutral, but...
Yeah. They should start exploring...
2 of them maybe? 2 of them are neutral?
The bow?
The bow is a relic.
And the Time Worn brand?
I think that new red-purple one is
the bow.
A relic as well. The enchant
it probably is. It has like 1,000 types.
Yeah. It does.
Yeah. I mean, like... That falls under purple, so that still would work. Even though red can get it, that still kind of fits into the...
Yeah, right. Yeah. Like it still occupies the type of headspace. Possibly more stuff like handcuffs.
Yeah, I was going to say stuff like use your fist for other things.
Yeah, like if Mystics can do it, why can't we? Even like freaking Seekers can do it.
Yeah, I mean, have you ever played Dungeons and Dragons? If you have a character with a passable intelligence score and a really high strength number, you can do everything with your strength number.
Yep.
You know, they're like, you gotta intimidate this guy, and you're like, good, I rip his finger off. They're like, you gotta unlock the door, and you're like,
you gotta get this guy to cooperate with you. Just like tell him he'll cooperate, or I'll rip his finger off.
Yeah, and the only the tough part of this is that once again, like,
you don't want to be purple.
No.
You don't want to be purple, but also going back to how Guardian is the most fair, I feel like they have the most kind of like cohesive flavor over what they do, and an effect like that couldn't work on a monster, right? Because in Arkham Horror they don't get scared, right? So then that once again would relegate it just to humanoids, right? Which is great flavor, but we saw
Interrogator
that
exists.
Yeah.
The card is not good.
Yeah, and it's just like
Interrogator is fine, I think.
I don't even
It's
know.
2 Tesla's clues. I've played my rolling deck and I got like.
It is
8
not
clues off
test.
it.
They are not Teslas. You must make a test.
Whatever, you get to test with your fist.
Yeah.
It's
You do get to
it's
test
an
with your
easy
fist.
test. It is failable, but it's very easy.
Yeah, I feel like unfortunately because it wouldn't make sense for you to interrogate a monster because it's Arkham Horror. It kind of just like.
You ever seen
further
Starship
crushes it.
Troopers?
I have, but
I like to see some things that care about whether they're engaged to monsters or not.
Yep.
Or more cards. Something like, I don't know, like a weapon where if you're not engaged to a monster, you can shoot at an adjacent location, or some kind of tool that like you can use in your offhand. This like if you're engaged to a monster, you get +1 punch, and if you haven't been engaged to a monster's turn, you get +1 book. So they need more things to do on their turns off.
yeah, like and there's like even like you look at is this the card Intrepid?
God, this card is so bad.
Like you see like
So bad, dude.
you see stuff like this, and like I'm agreeing with like the flavor of it's cool as this review over here, but like it's just bad,
Yeah.
right?
This might have been neat if it was like forced at the end of the round if you didn't pass a brain test or something like that.
Yeah,
Then you discard it and you get to keep it otherwise. But
yeah, because it even could have just committed for 2 brain. Like it's once a little. I mean, I understand like designing cards is hard, especially because also like Fantasy Flight doesn't have a huge team like Magic the Gathering does, right? Like or like even like I mean, but even then you see like in Legends of Runeterra or Hearthstone, these designers still have a hard time finding the right power levels, right?
yeah.
So it's hard.
Don't worry about it. 2 years from now, we're gonna be coming up with all kinds of ideas from our videos.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's +1 to like your numbers for a turn is powerful enough.
Mm-hmm.
Like the payoff here is worth. The downside to it is that you don't get to decide when it happens.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. Oh yeah, if it was like if it was like an asset and it was like at the start of your turn, you may test brain 3 or whatever, and if you pass, you get +1 to other skills until the end of the round. That'd be good. I'd like that. Be neat to see stuff like that, or like things that. Seeing the plus to all stats makes me think of like Dark Horse and going back to like a safety in numbers sort of thing, where it's like if you have 2 allies in play, you get +1 to all your stats.
Yeah.
That would have had to come out in Leo's expansion.
Nope.
Yep.
No, there's other ally guys coming, I promise.
Nah.
Charlie
Charlie
Kane.
Kane.
But he's not going to be blue. Charlie Kane's going to be green for sure.
In the Arkham Horror 3rd edition, which has been pretty consistent, he's green, yellow. But I can see them changing that.
Maybe he'll be yellow green.
Oh man,
No, that
what
would
if
be bad.
what if he's blue purple? And he just hunts vampires.
Yeah, you know.
So like,
What about that?
of the remaining investigators, like who else could we see really upending what blue does? Right?
I don't know who's left.
I'm
All
trying
the
to.
cool guys are in the game already.
Yeah. I just took them all out for Eldritch Horror, and I don't even remember now. Hank Sampson, he's going to be a survivor.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, he could be survivor turned guardian though.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to do that again. Not the Edge of the Earth style, I don't think. Honestly, I hope they don't, because to me that's a pretty...
I'm not a huge fan of that deck building either.
Like, I'm glad it exists, and I'm glad they're exploring deck building things, right?
Maybe he'll be like Survivor. He'll be like the Gloria pattern. He'll be like Survivor, and then he can be not Rogue.
Mm-hmm.
Seeker, because he's looking for his power. Guardian, because he's punching people. And he can be
Mystic,
not Mystic,
because he can
be a
talk
rogue
to cows.
instead.
Yeah. Betsy,
I don't know,
where's
man.
Par? Yeah.
No, I do like that. I do like that type of deck building because it kind of tells a story on its own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I know. Like,
It's a nightmare for new players, but you know,
Whatever.
sucks
yeah,
to suck
my
for
only...
them.
I don't want to see it... I just don't want to see... I want them to find, like, different ways to tell the story in deck building. Because I think that would be... I don't know. The deck building stuff, honestly, I just, like... give me. All I want is the photographer whose name is slipping my mind. Daryl Simmons to be red, yellow. That's all I need.
That'd be cool.
Because there's still no level 05 survivor 02 seeker.
Yep. No, I'm waiting for that one too.
And that Daryl Simmons is the one that makes the most sense for that.
Yep. I'd like to see more uses for like firearms, like a warning shot, but like better.
Yeah.
Maybe some like covering fire where you can spend a number of ammo from your gun, and then you get to attack that many enemies, and like if you don't shoot them, then they get evaded or something like that. Mm-hmm. Or like a display of power thing where you get to spin ammo off of one of your guns and you shoot them, and if it kills them, then like it evades other enemies at your location because they're scared that he just got his head blown off.
Or even like just like you can like you shoot, mm-hmm. or like and then you get to like move away, right? Yeah. So like if you kill them, it's just like nice, but then like it costs you an ammo to do.
They can get real mad at you for one of those shitty Call of Duty perks, and it's like you take a fight action. If you kill them, you get to like put 2 ammo back on your gun.
Yeah.
So a lot of those games have things where it's like if you kill an enemy, you can like reload faster within X seconds of killing them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would like to see some kind of investigator that can make better use of these assets. Yeah, Stand Together is a good...
it's a cool design.
Yeah, things that benefit you and your teammates.
Yep.
We got a couple of those floating around, but they could do better.
I don't know about better, but
it'd be nice. It'd be neat to see things like bold actions that benefit people at your location. Mm-hmm. Like heal, like it's a 3 cost event, and then it's bold, and you heal 2 damage from yourself and someone at your location. So that way they can like like you're not supposed to talk about the cards in your hand, so like it benefits you guys for sticking together.
Yeah, I would like even like kind of like a take the initiative style design where you want to be the investigator who goes first, mm-hmm. because you're the leader, mm-hmm. and if you do, like, people get a bonus, right? Like if you're the first investigator to take an action this round, all the other investigators get bonus. And we've already seen that the Guardian cards, they're already okay with. They're like one of the classes that's acknowledging the fact that you want to play this with other investigators, and I think they should keep exploring that. It makes it so that there's less options for solo, but I think in its very nature, Guardian isn't like you're not like chomping at the bit to do Guardian solo, right? Like
like that is one of the things I don't like about Guardian is that they're the only class that's like not good solo. You know, like you can play Yellow Investigator, you gotta build around but they're not like the other classes. It's much, much harder to get the requisite clues than it is
but like Yellow's
classes.
Broken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yellow's broken.
But still, like, Yellow would inherently be better than Blue because the goal of the game is generally to get the clues, and they have a bit easier time getting the clues compared to being enemies. So.
Yeah. A significant part of the goal of the game is also not to get killed on turn 2 by a rat.
Yeah.
But,
That's what I have truth for.
Get out of here, rat.
Yep.
And I'm like, all the other rats, I'll stare at them with my eye of truth.
Be neat if they got a card that was like, protect your teammates from symbol abilities or something like that. Like you could...
you mean it's like what's his name?
Oh, the new multicolor
purple blue guy.
Kind of. I was thinking like...
I
was thinking more an event, like where an ally, if a teammate, or an investigator location draws... a symbol token, you can like put it on, like you play it then, and then you put the token on the card, and the next test you commit, you draw that symbol.
As well, I think what would be beneficial to the entire game as well is if they started designing cards that are tech cards, like because kind of like how handcuffs works, like especially well in something like the Circle Undone. They should have like a because like how Red cares about skulls, but it cares about skulls because that's a token that's in every campaign, right? Mm-hmm. But in flavor, I would enjoy something if Guardians cared about cultists. And then there's some campaigns where there's not involved, and you just don't play those cards in them, right?
We have some of that with the humanoid stuff, but...
Yeah, and I think they should explore that further. Yeah. And it makes sense in Guardian, because, like, they care about cultists. Their job is to investigate this kind of stuff,
yeah,
right?
That's fair. That's fair.
So, like, if this token's drawn, you get a positive effect for this test, right? And then it kind of also works with purple too, because more effects like that in purple, but not in purple, will cause more deck building decisions because you can explore other classes with it, right?
Speaking of Guardian's Identity, it reminds me of a bone to pick with the Edge of the Earth multicolor cards. And I kind of was able to come off by the other day. I was thinking about why I don't really like the design of a lot of them. And
is there a specific card?
Pick one of the multicolor ones.
Sure. I can do that.
Like, pretty much all of them are a good example. But most of them aren't something that both classes can do. Most of them are just, this class can do it, and then also, like, this is just a purple card.
It's also a blue card.
It's just a purple. It could have been printed as just a purple card, and then would have been.
It could also have been printed as just a blue card without the "you may use your brain."
Yeah, but my point is it's like.
I think this one's fine.
It's the difference between multicolor in Magic and hybrid in Magic, Bryn, is what I'm getting at. These aren't multicolor cards; they're hybrid cards, and they don't treat them like they are.
I mean, I think most of them they do.
Like, you look at, like, Unscrupulous Loan as an example. That's just a green card that happens to have a red mechanic stapled onto it. It could have had literally any other downside, and it's just a green card.
I think this one does an okay job.
Yeah, no, like, there's definitely some of them that are good.
But overall, I get what you're saying, Travis.
Yeah, like, a lot of the high experienced blue ones, they're like, this is just a weapon, and then also we put another color on it. Like, Cyclopean Hammer, that could have been just a blue weapon. Sledgehammer, that could have been just a blue weapon.
Oh, this one's so tiny.
So, like, the Cyclopean Hammer, the purple part of this is that your brain matters, right? Like,
but adding brain to your skill value is something that blue already does on its own with enchant weapon. And also Radiant Smite, and using blue to fight isn't something that's out of blue's sort of color pie. They also get that from Blood Eclipse.
To me, with the multi-class cards in Edge of the Earth, is I personally feel is there's not enough that differentiates classes for stuff like this. That to me, the multi-class is here more for deck building options and also the synergy, right?
Yeah, if they want me to make this feel like a blue and a purple card, then they should have made it so, like, if you want to move the guy, you have to pass a brain test.
Yeah, that's reasonable. So, do you want to just, for people who may not know, how does, in Magic the Gathering, as you're referring to, what's the difference between gold and like a gold card and a hybrid card?
Yeah, so in case, for the few of you who've never played Magic, I imagine most people who play this have at least heard of it. But there's 5 colors, and they're each, like, pretty specific, and what they can do is something that designers really take care to.
Except green.
Yeah, I mean, like, they made some mistakes.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
You're gonna make some mistakes making.
Green is like the yellow.
Yeah.
Of that game that gets to do everything.
Yeah, blue used to be the yellow. Yeah.
But yeah, so multicolor cards are ones that require you to be playing both colors. So you pay with mana, so it's like colored resources. If you are gonna, so for example, red deals direct damage and white heals you, gives you life back. So there's a card called Lightning Helix that is, it costs you 1 red and 1 white. You have to be playing both of those colors to play it, to be able to play it, and then it does a little bit of both colors. You're getting a bit of both. Whereas hybrid cards allow you to play either or. This card called Boros Legionnaire, is that the little goblin dude?
Yes.
Yeah, he costs 1 red or 1 white, and he's just like a little guy who has first strike, which is something that both red and white get. So the difference is like multicolor cards. You can't. So like in this game, they're giving things to colors that don't normally get them because the initial color gets them, the other color gets them. Whereas because you don't have to be playing both classes to play them, then there's no like. It just blurs the lines between the classes too much, in my opinion.
And like it's one of the things due to the way that like Magic has mana, which I mean in itself is sort of dated at this point. And you kind of see with the new design, it's more like a resource type system, like Lord of the Rings, the card game. you have to pay from specific pools. This one doesn't have, Arkham doesn't have that. They do that through their investigators' deck building requirements, which I love the system, right? Like it's one of my, and it's why the game is so engaging, because each investigator is different enough, right? And then it's just, you have to look at these cards, and then also that's why the classes also blur together, is because, well, certain classes are better at certain things, not counting Seekers. The limitation comes from what your investigator can do, and also the fact that the game must be able to be played solo, right? Because then, in theory, they want anyone to be able to succeed with any combination.
It's something they've also kind of designed themselves into a trap with a little bit, where, for example, in my opinion, one of the most prominent examples is how green characters all have, I promise this isn't just me repeating green characters, all the green characters have low brain, so every time they print a character that has low brain, they have to print a new card that helps mitigate that, because the core set doesn't have any.
Yes.
So eventually you hit like such a high number of cards that like help you mitigate your brain, it stops becoming a downside.
And honestly, I'm seeing that too with the mystic spells. Yep. I fall asleep when I'm reading a mystic spell, because it's just the same thing.
Mystics are such a egregious offender for this multicolor stuff, where they're all just mystic spells. Like Blur is admittedly one of the better designed multicolor cards in the set, I think.
Big or small.
But like Divination and Brand and Cthugha are they're just purple cards. Blur, I think, is fine because purple or green already has like precedent for having spells that help them evade.
I think as well too. This one, even the if you succeed by 0, take 1 damage. That sounds like a green thing, right? Because like they care about how much you
succeeded by more, you stupid.
Right?
Yeah, but it's just a riff on the if you drew X token, you take damage.
Exactly, and like the thing is, I feel like they started with this Blur idea, and they were like, we should do this for everything else. But to me, that just doesn't feel like it's obviously like the punishment, because spells.
Yeah, like it's not a yellow thing. It doesn't make sense in Divination.
Exactly.
It's not a blue thing.
And it makes sense on the green one, though. To me, it reads perfect. I'm like, that makes tons of sense. I feel like in order for that, the punishment should have been related to the colors, the classes that it's.
That would make them feel a lot better, yes.
Yeah.
But
I also I don't envy them because of the core set and the way this game worked.
I mean, they literally just had an opportunity to fix it, and they chose not to. So.
Because it's just. It makes it so that, and why you see us, and why we have to make the video where we talk about the spells for our expanded deck guide series, is because there's so many options, because they need to keep making them. Because when you buy in, determines what spells you have available to you.
It's like why green keeps getting better and better, because there's no cards that are green that do anything in the core set. So you have to give out new green cards that do things every cycle.
They could add like 2 cards to every color, and they could fix a ton of their problems. Like they could have just like slapped lockpicks and the Mauser for the green.
There is lockpicks 1 in the core set.
Yeah. That, or like you handle this one, and then to fix the brain thing for. Blue, they could have just stuffed in like, I don't know, like a leadership level 2 or something like that to help with the economy. Blue doesn't really have that issue. They kind of have everything they want from the core set. Purple, they could have just been like, hey, check out, it's Rite of Seeking to go with your shrivelings. And you're like, ooh, thank you.
Wow, so big. This is one I wanted to talk about too. I missed the point earlier.
This should have been a blue-green card. This is a blue and green card.
However, I feel like what this card is trying to do, not so much the foot thing. Let's not look at the foot thing here, which you add your foot, because that's obviously
different. Is it
different.
dual wielding, Justin?
No, it's not that either. This is like kind of pretending to do what Tony Morgan does, which is, multiple combat actions to fight more and more. And that's why Tony Morgan is, to me, trending ahead of a lot of the blue investigators, is because he can fight so efficiently. This allows them to fight more efficiently. I think the foot thing is, I agree, feels very green. But just like being able to fight again, right? You kind of, because there's also that in some of the Nathaniel Cho cards, right? The 1-2 punch, which is like perfect name, perfect flavor, perfect card for what it does, right? And I feel like they need more of that to be able to compete with Tony Morgan, because just his one additional action a turn adds up. because it's so easy to have something with a bounty on them, right?
Yeah, you just get to do it. It's literally free.
And I think like this being on a weapon, and even like the level 2 ones, well, like I think overall butterfly swords so small. Well, I think overall these cards are still just fine until I have the chance to play with them to see what I think, right? I think the design space of them is more engaging than just I'm going to fight 3 times. Like same like with you, Bryn, like don't like to investigate 3 times. Finding ways to make that more interesting is more exciting.
Yeah,
right?
I was pretty harsh on this card when it first came out, but like reading it more and realizing that you can attack 2 different enemies makes me a lot harder on it, I think. But
how many rats can you kill with your sword?
2. You have 2 swords, 2 rats.
The answer is dependent entirely on whether Brown Jenkin is here or not.
Yeah. And like I think like even this shows like a great example of how like Guardians should be treated, and obviously how they are treated. Where the level 2 one, which any non-main core Guardian can get, you have to exhaust it and you do it once, right? But I believe the other one is it doesn't exhaust. You can just attack.
You can choose to exhaust it for the extra damage.
Yeah, exactly. So you can attack 6 times, right?
Yep.
Which is good. It outpaces Tony Morgan, which is important. It costs 5 experience, so only core Guardians can get it. And it takes up 2 hands, which I think is entirely fair for 6 fight actions, right?
Yeah.
Because it's a great boss killer, like 6 shots at an enemy, at a boss.
Yeah, but like they don't do extra damage, do they?
No, but they do their extra damage with in the level 5 one.
Well, you still
by
you get
the
2
additional attacks, right?
Right, yeah, but like it's the same as playing a machete and like chop 3 times, only with more tests.
No, because you
Right.
get 1 damage on the last one. It's like a little bit more.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
No, I mean that's entirely fair too, because there's also like more tokens to fail on.
Sorry,
Yes, if
my
you're
view
just
of it.
attacking the same guy 3 times with it, well 6 times with this, it is worse than the machete because you like have to make 6 tests.
Yeah, like you can divide the damage a little better.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about
that's like the niche this card fills, is it fights multiple enemies better without being flamethrower.
and like I'm not talking about like the
Bring him to the dreamland.
Yeah.
because you look at this this multiple card thing, and where it does improve is like going back to the card we were talking about earlier that doesn't really have a home right now, Intrepid, right? The more actions you can take with like something like Intrepid, the better value you get out of it, right? And I think that they need to be able to do more, like have weaker weapons that you have by more attacks from, to if there's ways you can take advantage of those attacks. But this is all just like thought crafting, right? Like it's not actually. I just think Tony Morgan needs to slow down a bit,
Yeah.
and this will help that.
Pull us back to the Guardian stuff. I was thinking another neat investigator I'd like to see is like a dancer who gives you benefit for dodging enemy attacks.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And she could be like, when enemy attacks an investigator at your location once per round, you can like test. She could be like a medium fist, like highish foot investigator. And then you get to test, she has like 5 foot or something like that, and you test foot 3, and if you succeed, then you dodge the attack. And then have like a bunch of cards, or like when you dodge, or like a weapon that's, if you dodge an enemy attack this turn, then you can, you get bonus to your fire, do extra damage, or when you dodge an enemy attack, you get to attack them for free. Stuff like that. Or get a clue, or...
Even going on this, it kind of bleeds into green a bit, but it opens up. I think another thing that Guardians, for me, need a bit more variety, right?
Yeah,
so
it's okay to take a little bit from their classes for Guardian.
Because even if it bleeds into green, like I'd love a Guardian that if you, with high foot and high fist, and if you attack an evaded enemy, it deals extra damage once a round, right? Like cool. Just like, because exactly that, like you evade them and then you're just like boom, right? It offers a different play pattern, which is more interesting.
Yep.
And then also your 25 automatic becomes even sweeter with them because they can run up to 2 green. Like, let's be real.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of custom investigators for this game, and one of the cool ones that stuck with me was this. It was a knight, and like your armor was cheaper, and your melee weapons were cheaper, I think. And like your unique weapon was a sword that you got to counterattack people if they damaged your armor.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah,
and that was kind of neat.
Cool. Yeah.
Like a protect the baby kind of thing. Yeah, definitely.
Does it fit into the setting? Not at all.
But it
Does
could
that
be
matter?
It could be adapted, right?
Like
Like
whatever.
a little bit. There's
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, like maybe if you made it like blue purple, and then they're just like cast out of time or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Whatever.
maybe.
It's a vaguely fantasy setting. You can do whatever you want.
And what if it was even transferred to like kind of like a Duke style thing where you have an asset that's in play and if it leaves it's gone. But anytime that asset is damaged,
Yeah.
you get to like do something because it's like a couple, right? And
Yeah.
you're playing one of them, and if the other person gets damaged, the person's like, oh, pissed, right? Like reverse Sophie. It's Sophie and Mark Harrigan's your ally.
You know, that'd actually be neat if you had like your investigators, like whenever damage was put on them, you get to like do damage to your location, but whenever, and then their abilities, whenever damage is put on you or horror is put on you, to discover a clue your location or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be some nice play.
Yeah. And then
So basically, print more cards that care about taking damage, please.
yeah.
Please.
I think another thing too that I really enjoyed from the frickin' that night guy sounds really cool, but then also like I would love one that if it allows you to put damage on a number of assets, and the number of assets you put damage on determines the effect of the card. I think that'd be really cool.
That would be
Because
neat.
then you have a reason to just dynamite blast, or just like if like a certain
Yeah.
number of things leave play, you get a reward, and you're just like, all right, I like this dynamite here.
Like alternate Leo Anderson, where you get cards that allow you to exhaust your allies to increase their effect.
Oh yeah,
So the more allies you have in play,
yeah.
the more dogs you have in play. They all boil down to dogs. It's dogs all the way down.
This is
all the
Leo
way down.
Anderson. This is parallel version. Theoretically, his title is Dog Handler.
Yeah.
But I promise that his effect is intended for other things.
And obviously, like, we don't know how long of a lifespan they envision for this game. Everything they've said is that it's doing very well, and that, like, it's trending up for that. Things change very quick in the board game world. It's not, like, as consistent as other stuff, just with the way things work. But assuming they have plans to continue this for some time, they're almost out of Arkham Files investigators. They've already proven that they're going to make more, and I support them making more, right? Because there's some...
I'd like it if they tested them a little bit more. 3 rain or snows is pretty ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. But I mean...
It is a bit of an egregious effect.
But that mistake could have happened even if they weren't
Yeah.
designing a new character, right? If that was just like like even Jacqueline Fine, like her ability is a bit nuts for like a character. But they're going to see more, and I think it's exciting for them to explore kind of design space that we don't even know, because we're not like, oh yeah, Wilson Richards is going to care about tools, right?
Yeah.
Well, I
Agatha
mean, we
Crane.
are like that, but
Yeah.
But like, there's going to be more, and I'm curious to see if they do anything weird. If they eventually, like later on, they're actually like, this guy plays with dogs. You must
Yeah.
use dogs with him, or otherwise he does nothing, right?
Okay.
Right. Like, curious to see what can come from that.
no. There was another cool custom one I saw that was there was a ghost, and you just couldn't interact with the game unless you had an enemy to possess, and you make brain tests against your enemy to make them do things
This
for
sounds incredibly unfun to play.
you. Yeah, I mean, like really though.
I'm not gonna lie.
That's what you see in the because I've been playing some custom content and some custom investigators, and they're kind of like one step away from being polished.
Oh yeah,
right?
like people like they do ideas they think are neat, but they're just like not fun.
Well, and then that's the thing. Like they're a few steps away from just being a little fixed, a little polished, and I'm curious to see just if they ever get really weird with it, because they're going to obviously get weird in a way that's playable, because they're the ones making the game, and they they'll
Ghoul investigator when?
yeah. Oh, let's go, Pikmin or whatever his
Yeah,
name
it's
is.
like Richard Upton Pickman.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on Guardians? Because now we're just talking about like the future of the game.
That's probably what we're talking about, future of Guardian.
It's true.
But no, I think that I think we covered pretty much everything we have to say. I will say, earlier you said that one of the things that we both talked about, one of the things that Guardian has, and in Bryn's case it has over Rogue, is their consistency. I think that's also partially why they're so boring.
Yeah. No, it's I remember with there was one of the YouTube threads that I was responding with. People were asking why we weren't including certain cards from Guardian. It's just because they're fair. Like they're just like or like they were like the cards that were like.
Card, but I haven't played it in so long. It's just so damn boring.
Yeah.
You do the same thing every
That's
game.
because you do the same thing with it every time. You can do all kinds
that is
of
actually
cool
that is
shit
actually
with
that's
it.
But those things are bad.
that is actually very fair. True. Like.
I'm not paying 6 experience to make my deck shitty.
But just like
Tactics and supplies encompass a great deal of effect, like many different
Look,
effects.
supplies don't really, but like tactics, I'll give you due.
Supply is includes at least 2 different effects. Oh fuck! This isn't even a supply number.
Yeah, you
Fuck
like
me.
that?
Get that garbage out of here.
and yeah, it's just it's kind of just you do the same thing.
Yep.
And I mean, also, yeah, it is, to Bryn's point as well. Travis, he is the furthest from a jank builder that exists at this table, and I'm not that far from Travis with that. So,
I build stupid stuff once in a while, but it's usually I don't build stupid stuff for the purpose of building stupid stuff. I build it because I think it might be good.
yeah.
I'll kill these supplies. This kerosene is just an item. Why would it be good?
Yeah.
Actually, ammunition is a supply. We got 1.
This is a tactic.
Yeah, I know there's lots of tactics. You don't have to tell me that. I know there's lots of tactics, but
Anyway, my point is you could do a lot of different things with it.
yeah, there's a lot of supplies. Yep.
I'm pretty much done with blue cards.
Yeah.
I'm almost. I got 2 pages left.
I mean, like, what else is there to say?
No, that's a science, not a supply.
Blue card punch good all time.
Yeah, punch good all time.
Yeah, but we're here to complain about why
Vicious blow.
blue punch is boring.
No.
Yeah, this isn't even a supply. First aid's a science. Sick.
First aid of science. Oh, Kate Winthrop.
Yeah.
She's gonna crack first aid wide open.
I mean, it's already pretty okay in Carolyn.
Yeah.
Carolyn's a really breath of fresh air.
Do we think Dr. Vincent Lee is gonna be a Guardian?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, that's unfortunate because I mean, unless they do the inverse Carolyn, that's
Who else would he be?
The thing is, I feel like this game already we see with like Joe Diamond, right? Or even like Tony Morgan with his bounties. It's just so much more interesting than we don't need Vincent Lee to just be reverse Carolyn Fern. I feel like damage is less of a problem than horror is, so Carolyn Fern makes sense there. Vincent Lee's got to do
right.
something different.
Vincent Lee should get surgery cards where you get to add effects onto people. Like, hold on, we're going to graft another arm onto this guy.
Oh, autopsy! Like he does autopsies on creatures and like
Yeah, discovers clues.
that's Roland Banks. Frick. Who knows?
Yeah, that's a little tough.
Thanks for watching, everybody. I have to go to this. Zoop. If you wanted to add any thoughts about what you think about what we said, or if you want to add further insight, please let us know in the comments. I'll be checking the video, and I imagine Travis will be too when it comes up.
Yeah.
This was kind of his brainchild of an idea, and we have a lot more. The Guardian is probably like the most, like its cards, going to be the one that has the least discourse. When we get to Seeker, Rogue, Mystic, and Survivor,
I
I'm
don't know.
sure.
Seeker has like very little going to talk about it. I feel like they're just broken as fuck, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
I think
Oh no, that's what I mean. I'm ready to complain about Seekers for sure.
They can do a whole ton of things that they shouldn't be able to do.
I think the Seeker is broken, but it's not their fault. It was almost unavoidable.
I thought you were gonna blame the Rogues for it. It's the Rogues' fault that the Seekers are like this.
It's the Rogue's fault for being so bad that Fantasy Flight had to make yellow cards better to make up for your shitty Rogue teammate who does nothing.
Poor Greens. Yeah, let us know in the comments what you think if you want to see more. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. And as always, GG's.